Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel is Finding Value. We're going to do our daily analysis of uranium for technical analysis. Guess what? It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good, guys. Uranium, the price broke out to the upside. And what's really good is a lot of the companies are moving up with good buying pressure, and they're finishing strong at the end of the day, which means buying pressure is coming in from the beginning of the day and going on up the entire day. That is incredibly bullish. That is getting my blood flowing. It's making my account very happy. And it's making me feel like this could have some staying power. So let's get in. Let's look at the charts. I didn't draw any trend lines on these. So hopefully you guys can try to picture the trend lines yourself and see what you got. Because I've been doing trend lines on all these. And remember, this is an educational channel. It's not supposed to be meant for advice or anything like that. It's not meant for that. And you guys are going to have to do your own due diligence and see what companies you want to invest in. So here we go. Uranium technical analysis and why I think it looks very good starts with the uranium price right here. Now, when I look at these charts, I look for things that can come across. So I scan across and we've got a point here, a point here, a point here, and then we've got this guy. I also see points lined up going up this way and points higher lows coming up. I look for all those things. Now, if I throw some lines in here, I can throw a line through here. See that line? I can throw a line. I'm just going to do a whole bunch of lines, guys, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. You can throw the line through here and you're like, oh, it doesn't touch all these. Doesn't really matter. We have higher lows. It's the overall trend that I'm looking for. Then we've got resistance coming through here that we just kind of broke through. See that? So we've got all these lines, and trust me, this thing looks fantastic to me. Oops. Going over here. All right. So we've got our lines in here. This is what this means when you hit these lines. It means you have resistance or support. It tagged it once, tagged it twice, came down basically a third time. Here's a fourth time, a fifth time, a sixth time. And what this does is it basically gives resistance coming up or support coming down. We also had this one where we were coming in this ascending wedge type pattern and it broke to the upside. Once we broke out, it had to break through this last kind of resistance line. It's breaking and turtle heading through this. And we could see this kind of come back and tag it, but looking at the mining companies, they are finishing incredibly strong, which means the momentum might continue. So it's looking fantastic from a uranium price perspective. Now, I'm doing a weekly chart here on URNM ETF. I'm looking at the big picture. And what I do is I scan across. You can scan across, and I see a couple of points in here. And I bet you it can extend all the way out. So that's going to act as a big support line. Now, why do we care about this support line coming through here? Because we can use it to gauge where it could potentially bottom. And we could put some buy orders right in here. If you're a more of a aggressive buyer. So we can draw through here. I kind of split the difference a little bit. I cheated a little bit to tag this line. But it's somewhere in that area. And we've bounced off this very nice coming on up. And we finished strong so far this week. This is looking fantastic to continue higher, in my opinion. Looks very nice. Looking at it from a daily perspective, the daily closed strong as well. We broke this downtrend coming down. You can see that the pattern has changed. Big down days, small up days, and it changed right here with this bullish engulfing pattern. If you've been following the channel, you said, I always call out the bullish engulfing pattern. Came up, another bullish engulfing. Doesn't mean that this is just going to go straight up. Sometimes you have this leak off of the last amount of sellers. Then we had a bullish piercing. And sometimes usually what happens is it comes on up, it pulls on back, and sometimes it comes a little higher, a little lower, or right where the beginning portion was. And that's usually what happens when I see these patterns. It comes up, tags this downtrend line, and then launches higher. And that's exactly what happened. This looks very strong, looks very good, and it's finished strong today. The momentum is continuing higher, perhaps. Nice good volume as well. Looks fantastic to me. CCJ, again, fantastic closing there. Looks strong. Could continue into tomorrow. And again, next gen, very small wick at the top. It finished pretty strong. It could continue tomorrow. And we are coming up on resistance of this all-time high. I think this is an all-time high for next gen. And there it is right there. We are coming up on it. And sometimes it gets a little bit of a resistance right when you get here. So don't be afraid if this thing comes up and tries to punch and gets a nice little wick at the top and then kind of pulls back and does a little U-shaped handle. That would be a cup and handle pattern that could develop. Don't be discouraged. I don't know if we're just going to blow right through this. We have a lot of momentum. So what I'm guessing is going to happen is we're going to come up and probably maybe even put a wick at the top here and then do a little handle or sideways action. It's a handle. There's next gen on a long-term perspective. Weekly basis, multi-years. And I'm looking to see what we've got here. And I'm just going to throw some stuff in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. You throw this guy in here at the bottom, because I know that if you run it up, that runs up through there. We've got another one that kind of runs up through that guy right there. And that could provide a little bit of support. It's not going to be a huge support. And we've got this one going across that we broke out to the upside. So that's what it looks like if I'm trying to find a line that comes through. There's not too much resistance through here, I don't think. So we'll see what happens coming up. Fission Uranium looks good. It broke through this downtrend line right here. Bullish engulfing pattern right here. A bullish piercing, basically. It came up, hit the bullish piercing, and launched. This looks really good, maybe even to continue into tomorrow. On a long-term perspective, looking at Fission Uranium Corp here. We put this guy up here. We draw it down. It broke through that pattern. It broke out, back tested, and we're running higher. Are there any other patterns that you guys can see? And what I'm looking for is I'm scanning for things coming across like that. You can see there's a lot of resistance through here. And this buyers and sellers, all these trading days in action, is going to provide some resistance here. It's going to get stuck. So we got to get through this area in here to really get through it and launch. That's the what we're trying to get through here. Denison Mines, again, we're going to get stuck in this area through here. If we can get through it, perfect. But it looks good. Again, you look at this big long-term perspective on Denison Mines. We traded at this area through here for a long time, but it looks like it's just trying to break through now. So it might get a little bit sticky in here. And then once it gets through here, you guys will be smiling that you own Denison Mines, because I think you're going to get a lot less resistance. And you get through this area in here and you start getting up a little bit, there's not much resistance. It could get to $5 real quick. So it's got to get through this resistance first, though. Now, I'm not calling for $5 immediately. It's got to get through that resistance. Sky Harbor, it's looking pretty good. Not too bad there. I'm going to kind of breeze through a couple of these. Canalaska's got the bullish engulfing pattern here. It's launching higher. It looks good. Now, Standard Uranium, we've got this pattern that's here. And this is where the pattern's at. And we're breaking through, which looks like the top side. Now, this is going to get sticky, guys. There's a lot of sellers up here. Every time it hits this thing, it sells off pretty hard. So I think we're going to come up and kind of maybe sell off and do a back test on here and sit for a little bit before moving higher. Maybe not. Maybe with this momentum that we have in uranium and the price move of uranium is going to launch this thing higher. So I'm in it. I'm just holding on. We do have a bullish engulfing right here. and usually that's a launching pad to move on up. So I think it looks pretty good. Fission 3.0 launching higher to 10 cents. A nice big move, almost a double from down here. It's getting there in a very short time frame. Is this going to continue higher? Well, we'll have to find out. Pure Point Uranium up 21.19%. The downtrend line broke. This is one that I said I would buy here. It is gone, and I own this as well. Another one, Azincourt. I drew the line in. I said I would be buying it right here, up 18% the next day. That looks good, and it will probably continue higher. This is usually when you do these patterns, this has a projected move that could be somewhere up here. So it could run a good bit. UEXCF, again, this one's looking good. I'm just scanning around. We had nice support all through here below it, and that's where I bought. Base load's looking very good. I like the volume stepping in. We had nice big push higher, sideways movement. Usually that means we're going to move on up. There's going to be, you can draw kind of a, I'll draw the line through here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Again, this is for educational purposes, guys. This is what is going on, and that's where I'm just looking to see if we could tag a couple of these things, and this thing's launching higher. There's not much resistance through this guy. It's got a low float out there. Low float means there's not a lot of shares traded. A lot of people hold this thing, so it's very volatile. Volatile down, volatile up. We could see a big move higher here. Momentum's coming in, so it looks good. In International Consolidated Uranium broke its downtrend, and it's moving on higher. You can see the pop higher with the volume. Looks good. Ended strong. Could continue tomorrow. Goviax, we have a little bit of a black, which means it opened up and ended the day a little bit lower. We'll see what this does. Momentum's to the upside, so in the sector in general. So that one looks okay. Global Atomic looks like it broke its downtrend line. It's got little small contracted days, lots of volume stepping in. It's probably got a lot of resistance in this because it's coming up on its all-time high. There's a lot of resistance in this 280 area. It came up, sold off, and it's trying to come and break through this little sticky portion, for whatever reason, 280 is a sticky portion and 260, somewhere in that range. Deep Yellow coming on down. You know, we've got a black candlestick here. We did break this downtrend line. It's been real sticky all through this area. It's been sticky over many years. It's got to break through this area. And once we get through here, it's going to have a lot less overhead resistance. Same with Bannerman. Bannerman's in the same spot, trying to break through. We got all these black candlesticks. It's encountering more sellers through here. But the momentum and the price of uranium may carry us through this sticky portion. Another one, Forces Metals is trying to break through this area as well. If you look at a big long-term perspective, I know these charts inside and out. But bullish engulfing, big 3 move higher, small down day. This would be a good one to enter because you've got the momentum here and it's a small down day. This one's got the bullish engulfing. You've got a big long pattern. All these ones are good to enter in my opinion. The Bannerman, Forces Metals, and Deep Yellow. I like all those. Again, you guys have to do your own research. That's what my opinion is, and that's where I kind of overweighted some of these companies. Centrus Energy is looking pretty dang good. Tried to sell off a little bit today. That's what the wick is, but ended strong. Let's see if it continues. There's sellers up above this area. You get it. It's trying to break out of this area that's got some resistance through there. See it? It's trying to get through. It's been tagging it. See this wick at the top? There's sellers up there. That's why the wick exists. Hit sellers. Hit sellers. It's trying to break through all those sellers up there. UU's looking, looks okay. Not as good as some of the other ones, but it did break its downtrend. So it doesn't look too bad. UEC, some of the American ones don't look as strong as the other companies, but you know what? It seems like they're trading off every other day, so maybe tomorrow we'll have a strong day. UROY broke through this downtrend here, or the pattern, I should say. Downtrend line, pattern break. Let's see if we can move on up. Sometimes these like to back test the pattern, and the pattern that the trend line that I'm referring to is this trend line right there. It could roll over and tag this and then move higher. We've got URG, broke its downtrend line, but it's coming into some resistance. You can see whenever you look at these things, I look at the trading back over here, and what it's doing is it's trying to break through this resistance area all through here. There's sellers up there, sellers up there, sellers up there, sellers up there. It finally broke through, and then the sellers brought it back down. It's trying to break through this stock. The buyers are trying to break through these sellers that are existing over here and before, whoever bought it before. Just like Bannerman, just like all these other companies. Nice good move in Peninsula. Like I said, downtrend line break. When it pauses right here, you buy the heck out of it, and then it pops higher. We have, remember the trait that I'm trying to teach you guys. Bullish engulfing pattern. It came up, slow leak off of sellers, all the way back down to the beginning with a bullish engulfing pattern. If you guys knew how to read chart patterns, you'd be buying the heck out of it at 9 cents. From this bullish engulfing, you'd be buying it all through here in this next day. And then we'd be riding it higher. Now, this could be a prelude to a much larger move. Because whenever you have this pop higher like this, see how you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up days. The buying pressure came in and popped this higher. And then the sellers leaked out. Whatever's left. Oh, it's not going to go anywhere. I don't trust it. Blah, 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 blah. But guess what? On this channel, we know that uranium is vastly underpriced. The market conditions are changing. We know the market balances in the future are in massive deficit. You're a well-informed, educated investor. You're looking at this stuff saying, oh, I know exactly what to do. We've got a bullish engulfing with a bullish engulfing pattern. I've seen this short, high increased buying pressure, slow leak off of the sellers. The pattern I've seen over and over again, I'm going to buy the heck out of it. Now you hold on because we broke the downtrend line, and this thing, I think, could potentially move higher. It's looking very good. Boss Energy, again, you've got this trend line here. I haven't really drawn it in here. It's right here. You broke that. Step 1. Step 2, it's got all this sticky resistance through this section there. It's trying to break through that. Now you've got major resistance in this area up here that just doesn't seem to give. I'm just going to put it in there. Sell, 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 sell off, sell off, sell off, sell off. It's trying to go above. It can't go above. It can't go above. It's trying to break through this ceiling, this invisible ceiling of sellers. So whenever it gets to 16, 15 to 18 cents, it gets sold off. It's got to break through that before continuing higher. Encore Energy. Now, Encore Energy, we got a little wick at the top. We've got the top here. And this guy I am super excited about. And it's trying to break through this $1.32, 33. It's got to get through there. And once it gets through there, sky's the limit, baby. Like there's not much resistance up there. So we're going to be looking at all-time highs, kind of like Global Atomic moved up quite substantially. So this what I think may happen is that we could get at this $1.30-ish level. We break and close above it, $1.40, $1.50, somewhere in there. I think we're going to run. And then here's National Kazatomprom, just looking at the overall big picture of it. It's looking pretty good. It may have a little bit of a pullback here, but overall it's looking good. Blue Sky Uranium, you can see this guy in the dead period right here with bullish engulfing, bullish engulfing. This thing's going to launch. It launched higher. We'll see if it has where it goes from here, but that looks good. Volume stepping in a little bit. Laramide, we've got the resistance line here. We've got resistance through there, and we're trying to break through it, and it goes way back, and it's going to take some buying pressure and some time to break through this. But once it breaks through it, I think you're going to see a large move higher. Azarga Uranium, another one that some people like. You can see a clear uptrend, clear as day, and it broke through that. It popped through it. See that guy? Now, since we broke through this, I mean, this thing could run. Doesn't mean it'll run all in one shot. Doesn't mean it's all just going to go straight higher. You could see a pullback or two, and then boom, higher again. So uranium overall, I mean, guys, this is really strong. This could be a big move. And, hopefully that's the case. That's what it looks like to me. You got buying pressure stepping in. You got uranium price moving up that broke a critical resistance level. And these things are just stepping higher. We're breaking downtrends everywhere. We're ending strong with the candlesticks of opening low, finishing strong. Momentum is continuing from day to day. You can't ask for anything better. So I think that this is probably going to continue. Don't expect, large updates every single day, but it could really get moving. So it's important to be calm and not get super excited and to hold on. So hold on. These are at incredibly low valuation levels of the price of uranium. Now, some of these kind of front ran uranium a little bit. So some of that value got sucked out a little bit. But they're extremely volatile stocks. They are extremely leveraged to the price of uranium. Let's see what happens here, because I think we could see good momentum to the upside, and it could continue for a while. So fingers crossed. Another good thing about uranium that I want to also mention, that I wanted to mention to everybody: oil's been kind of weak in the short term, and uranium has broken that link. So I consider this to be ultra strong. Money is selectively choosing uranium on purpose. It is purposefully getting funneled into uranium and uranium only. It's not coming into the energy sector in its entire mass. It's not just, funds. And what I mean by funds, it's not money piling into oil, which these happen to be in some of these oil and energy funds. It's getting funneled directly into uranium. So that's a big difference that I'm seeing. And it's also incredibly powerful and strong because the money is seeking this sector on purpose. People are figuring it out. So what I'm doing, I'm holding on. I added a whole bunch. I am oil. I'm overweight oil. I'm overweight energy in general. I'll just put it that way. And I also have good positions in gold and silver and some copper. So let's see what happens, guys. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are excited, and hopefully the momentum continues in whichever favor that you guys want it to be, which is usually in the upside. All right, guys. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.